I'm a child of Delaware, a state defined by our next president, a man whose whole life embodies Dr. King's call to serve.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lynn Whitfield, and I'm an actor too, and a mother and a daughter of Baton Rouge, part of a family of activists who fought segregation, and the granddaughter of a country doctor who never turned anyone away, even if they couldn't pay. Because my grandfather knew, as we all do, that everyone deserves to be healthy and to be seen. He knew, as we all do, that we only succeed when all of us succeed, that we rise and fall as one. For so many of us, public service is a constant, a North Star. That is true for Joe Biden. And that is also true for Kamala Harris. That's true for the millions of women and men and children who stepped up today to volunteer.
Every year, Martin Luther King Day is more than a day off of work. It's a day on to serve. And never have we needed to summon that spirit more than today. COVID-19 has taken so much: health, paychecks, far, far too many lives. And for all those challenges that were already there, hunger, homelessness, racial injustice, poverty, this pandemic has only made them harder to solve. But the best answer is what it's always been: us. And all day, people did their part.
Virtually and in person, we saw folks from every stripe put together and deliver meals, write cards to patients recovering from COVID, lead online read-alouds to students, host grassroots fundraisers for nonprofits, organize contactless food drives, and so much more. And though we couldn't roll up our sleeves and stand shoulder to shoulder with our neighbors, even though things aren't normal, our willingness to answer the call was exactly what we expected. It was remarkable, inspiring, a reminder that we can forge a more perfect union, one act of kindness at a time.
Looking back on the last year, I know that America at its best is an America united. An America where service is the fabric that holds us together. An America driven by the belief that there's a cause greater than any one of us, and each of us can be a part of it. In reflecting on the service and resilience of the last year, I would like to take a moment to mention a great hero, mentor, and friend to so many participating in tonight's program, the great Congressman John Lewis, a man who marched alongside Dr. King and carried the message of nonviolence and the hope of the civil rights movement all the way to the United States House of Representatives. A man who we sadly lost in 2020, but whose legacy continues to move us all to serve.
Tonight, we're going to hear from a diverse, dynamic collection of voices, elected officials and activists, musicians and actors and everyday citizens, all forming a chorus of service nationwide, all taking steps, large and small, to give back to their communities, all putting in quiet hours of sacrifice and resolve to make a difference, all reminding us that there is nothing that we can't do if we do it together.
To get us started, we have a history-making guest who spent his career as a lawyer and as an advocate for justice inside and outside the courtroom. But many of us know him as the loving husband to our next vice president. Please welcome the first ever second gentleman of the United States, Doug Emhoff.
Good evening, everyone. Service is part of the character of this nation. And now more than ever, we need to do what we can to help our neighbors and our community. This year, in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy, we asked you to join us in a National Day of Service, and you did. There were thousands of events all across the country today, with people like you stepping up to meet the needs of communities from Asheville, North Carolina, to Lancaster, California, to Kansas City, Missouri. It is so inspiring to witness the impact that you have made. So I want to thank you for the work you did and the work you committed to do moving forward. Our nation has suffered immeasurable loss during the COVID-19 pandemic, and your service marks an important new beginning for our country. We are coming together to build a better future. I want to also recognize AmeriCorps, the federal agency for service and volunteerism, and its 75,000 Corps members and more than 1 million alumni for their commitment to service year-round. Thank you for leading the Martin Luther King Holiday National Day of Service for more than 25 years and for tackling our nation's most pressing challenges. Neighbors have never needed each other more. And as Dr. King once said, we must use time creatively in the knowledge that time is always ripe to do right. So tonight, I hope you sit back, enjoy the special guests and performances. And then tomorrow, I hope you'll get back out there and continue serving your community. Go to bideninaugural.org/service to learn more. Together, we will unite in service to help our country build back better.
Martin Luther King Jr. once asked, "Where do we go from here?" And over the past year, I've had to ask myself the exact same question, because where I grew up, in the Rio Grande Valley, COVID has hit hard. And it's hit especially hard in colonias, communities along the Texas-Mexico border where there are few paved roads and families lack basics like running water and electricity. And the sad truth is, many of these families are going hungry. When I wanted to know where to go from here, I called my local food bank only to discover that COVID rules had made it difficult for them to accept contributions or volunteers. And this is on top of the fact that at the height of the pandemic, our food bank's demand had multiplied by 7. The need is still there, so my friends and I decided, let's host our own food drive. The idea is straightforward. If you have food to spare, drop it off curbside. We'll go pick it up and deliver it to folks who need it the most. The response from my community was incredible. We had received enough contributions to fill up more than 100 bags of food. We found a local community resident who had a tradition of delivering toys to kids in colonias and joined him on his route, ensuring that families in 3 different neighborhoods had something to put on their table by Christmas. It was a small step, one of many that my community has already seen during the pandemic, but it also serves as a reminder. There are people in need, and there are even more people who genuinely want to help. It's just a matter of giving them an opportunity to step up and serve.
Thank you to our second gentleman, Doug EMHOFF, and volunteer, Michael Medelis, for sharing what has led them to serve.
I loved Michael's commitment to safely helping his neighbors in need during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Today's National Day of Service is in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a man who dedicated his life to nonviolence and creating a beloved community.
That's right. Dr. King once said, "Our goal is to create a beloved community, and this will require a qualitative change in our souls, as well as a quantitative change in our lives." He inspired the people of this nation to look out for our neighbors and to always lead with love.
He was a brother, a son, a father. Here with us today to share more about what drives them to serve is Dr. King's son, Martin Luther King III, and daughter-in-law, Andrea Waters King, and the granddaughter and activist, Yolanda Renee King.
I'm Martin Luther King III.
I'm Yolanda Renee King.
And I am Andrea Waters King, and we are so honored to be joining you today for the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service.
My father did a speech a few months before his passing, which was entitled The Drum Major Instinct. In that speech, he talked about us becoming drum majors for justice, drum majors for righteousness, drum majors for peace. And he inspired us to become true drum majors for justice. When we think about today where we are as it relates to service in our nation, during the Martin Luther King holiday, most particularly, millions of people often engage in service projects, and that is wonderful. And we hope that every year, millions more will. It seems as if we are more divided than ever in our nation. But we've got to come together and turn to each other and not turn on each other. We are truly a great nation, but we must become an even better nation.
It is our hope that this Martin Luther King Day, and in fact this entire year, that we not merely idolize Martin Luther King Jr., but we use this as a day and a year to truly manifest and live up to his ideals in creating the beloved community.
And you know what my grandfather said? My grandfather said that everybody can be great because everybody can serve. So let's see this day as a day of service.
Now we'll hear from Dr. King's youngest daughter, the Reverend Dr. Bernice A. King.
I'm glad to join you on today for this MLK Day of Service. 54 years ago, my father published his book, Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos or Community? For him, it was not just an attempt to pose a rhetorical question, but a serious quest to elicit a soul-searching response. He knew that if we did not shift our focus and priorities, we would be headed toward a world of sheer chaos, where we would destroy ourselves in the misuse of our own instruments or descend into a spiral of self-destruction. His words are just as relevant today. We are confronted, he said, with the fierce urgency of now. In this unfolding conundrum of life and history, there is such a thing as being too late. We still have a choice today: nonviolent coexistence or violent co-annihilation. This may well be mankind's last chance to choose between chaos or community. On this day of service, I can hear his voice reverberating that this may be our last chance to make the shift away from being power-centered to becoming more people-centered and service-centered. I can hear him reminding us of the necessity of shifting from a reign of chaos toward a more just, humane, equitable, peaceful, and sustainable world, which for him was the beloved community. For my father, the beloved community is a place of true respect, love, justice, and equity. It is an inclusive, achievable society in which problems and conflicts do exist, but are resolved nonviolently and without bitterness. In the beloved community, caring and compassion drive political policies. Our policies, practices, and languages are infused with unconditional love. In essence, the beloved community requires us to be other-centered, which service is about, to love our neighbors as ourselves, which service is about, and to care for one another. The beloved community truly reflects who we can be when we are more people versus power-centered. It's not too late to shift from chaos to community. It's not too late to shift from being a power-driven world. My father reminded us that power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and weak. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love. The urgency of creating the beloved community ultimately means that we must shift from being power-centered to becoming love-centered and service-centered. Now is the time to be love, because my father said, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Be love and continue to serve humanity.
Hi, I'm ALOE BLACC, and it's an honor to be here with you all today, but especially on a day that we honor Dr. Martin Luther King. His legacy of activism for civil rights lives on through all of us who continue to lend our time and our hearts to volunteerism and philanthropic endeavors. As an artist, I want to use my voice to make positive social transformation, to continue the legacy of Dr. King's fight for justice and equality. With my songs, I hope to inspire people to recognize the power of their voice and to continue the constant vigilance for generations to come.
I've been sad, I've been lost, I've been down and out and lonely. Yeah. I've been suffering at a job in a world that tries to own me. But when I wake up every morning, there's an image of a better place. Yeah. Cause the harder that we grind, then the sweeter is the glory. People say I'm foolish. People say I'm blinded by faith. But if I run out of air, if I crash, I don't care. I'm gonna do it my way. I can make it through this. You can throw the world in my face, but the fear gives me life, and I swear till I die, I'm gonna do it my way. Hey, gonna do it my way. So put me down, criticize me with your lies and with your parody. Yeah. In the darkness I don't hide, cause I got pride that gives me clarity. I still wake up in the morning with the vision of a better life. See, the option of defeat's just not written in my story. People say I'm foolish. People say I'm blinded by faith. But if I run out of air, if I crash, I don't care. I'm gonna do it my way. I can make it through this. You can throw the world in my face, but the fear gives me life, and I swear till I die, I'm gonna do it my way. Hey, gonna do it my way. People say I'm foolish. People say I'm blinded by faith. But if I run out of air, if I crash, I don't care. I'm gonna do it my way. I can make it through this. You can throw the world in my face, but the fear gives me life, and I swear till I die, I'm gonna do it my way. Let me fly through the air, if I crash, I don't care. I'm gonna do it my way. Cause the fear gives me life, and I swear till I die, I'm gonna do it my way.
Thank you to the King family for those words, and to ALOE BLACC for that incredible performance.
Yes. You know, it continues to blow me away that how consistent the King family is and how much work they put into continuing the work on behalf of their country and their community.
Now, our next speakers are two individuals who serve, and they know that Martin Luther King Day is a day on, not a day off.
Please welcome New Jersey Senator
Good evening.
CORY Booker.
I'm CORY Booker.
And I'm ROSARIO DAWSON. For millions of Americans, MLK Day has become a day on, not a day off. as they honor Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy by joining together to serve their communities. To honor this legacy, thousands of leaders in states and territories across the country, like you, united in service today, lifting up communities most in need of resources and relief.
Our nation has suffered immeasurable loss and hardship during this pandemic and economic recession. We have a lot of work to do together to repair these wounds and have an economy that serves us all. President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris are empathetic, compassionate leaders who are committed to undoing the damage by this pandemic and making sure we unify our country, heal our nation, and make sure that we make our economy work for all. So it's only fitting to devote a day of service to our fellow citizens ahead of their historic inauguration.
Today's Day of Service events focused on COVID-19 relief and addressed challenges that have been exacerbated by the pandemic, such as poverty, hunger, racial injustice, homelessness, mental health, and emotional disparities. And it would not have been possible without you. Thousands of volunteers and organizational partners leading and answering the call to serve in your communities.
Each of you are making a difference. Like Nye Whitaker in New York City, running a mass collection drive and working to educate New Yorkers on controlling the spread of COVID-19. Or Yvonne Hughes over in North Philly, running a nonprofit dedicated to food and clothing distribution and teaching life skills in her community. I am really awed and inspired to witness what so many of you are doing and the impact you are making.
Whether you serve today or not, we call on all Americans to sign up, to serve and volunteer in their communities at bideninaugural.org/service to learn more.
Together, we will unite in service to help our country, to help America build back better.
Thank you to my friends Rosario Dawson and Senator Cory Booker.
Today's National Day of Service would not be possible without the thousands of service leaders, community members, and state, local, and national organizations across the country that have helped to organize service events.
One such organization is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or the NAACP. With over 2,200 branches and 2 million activists throughout the country, through community-based activism, the NAACP strives to ensure the health and well-being of all.
Here to share some of Dr. King's, of how Dr. King impacted their past and inspired them in their future, and in the humanitarian work, is the NAACP Chief Executive Officer, Derek Johnson.
As we recognize this National Day of Community Service in honor of the life and legacy of Martin Luther King, I want us to recognize the power we all possess individually. I'm Derek Johnson, President and CEO of the NAACP. I can recall a story I heard from a Catholic priest. It was someone who had traveled to the continent of Africa and spent time in a particular village. And he noticed that people were greeting each other all throughout the day with a saying that was translated to, "I see the power in you." That was a profound message for me, to understand that each one of us have the power to make change. Each one of us have the power to serve, and all of us have the obligation to do the biblical principle of speaking for those who cannot speak for themselves. We gather today to recognize the legacy of a giant, but we must appreciate the giant that exists in each one of us. Let us serve, not only in this moment, but let us serve collectively to make democracy work for all.
Thank you, Derek Johnson. Lynn, Dr. King served on the executive committee of the Montgomery, Alabama NAACP. And it's clear that all these years later, Dr. King's words and deeds continue to guide their work.
Yes. It's so great to learn how Dr. King has impacted all day of service participants. Our next performer believes in the power of music to heal and encourage people around the world to practice their humanity daily. Here with us today is the cellist, Yo-Yo Ma.
Welcome, everyone, to a special moment that I hope will never be repeated in the same way again. What will be repeated, however, is that every 4 years we will continue to gather to celebrate hope. Our individual, communal hopes combined with the hope of our nation and of our species. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream. His dream lives on in us as long as we continue to have hope. The kind of hope that diligence and persistence, alongside courage, collaboration, and kindness, has a chance of becoming reality. This may sound daunting, but it is achievable. It starts with simple steps. The gift of kindness, treating our fellow human being the way we want to be treated. And one day we will reach the mountaintop. There, the cacophony of dissonant sounds will turn into luscious harmonies, combining into one luminous symphony.
Thank you for that lovely performance.
Absolutely beautiful. So he transported me out, but now I'm back. Now I'm back. And our next speaker made history 2 years ago as one of the first Native American women to serve in Congress. Today, she is here to share how she serves her Kansas community in and out of the halls of Congress. Please welcome Representative Sharice Davids.
Good evening. I am so honored to join this group of distinguished guests to celebrate the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and honor his legacy of service. In the wake of the horrific violence that we saw at the Capitol last week, I found myself reaching for Dr. King's book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community? It's no secret that we are living through an incredibly tumultuous chapter in our nation's history. We've seen an unprecedented pandemic, a long overdue conversation about racial justice, an insurrection in our nation's capital. And the choice before us remains the same. Do we choose chaos or do we choose community? I believe that this is a question that we can only answer together. Over this past year, one where we have experienced so much collective pain, heartbreak, and trauma, we have also seen incredible acts of bravery and service in communities across the country that have provided hope through it all. Like the retired Kansas farmer who mailed the governor of New York an N95 mask for a healthcare worker there. Or the people of all ages, races, and backgrounds marching in the streets to demand change this summer, furthering the necessary national conversation around racial justice and equality. And just this past week, we saw the bravery of Sergeant Eugene Goodman risking his own life to lure the violent mob away from the Senate chambers, protecting those who were sheltering in place there. We know that for so many, service is at the heart of what this country can be, as it was for Dr. King. And as we celebrate his legacy of service, we also reflect on the injustice that spurred it. In addition to his work advancing the rights and freedoms of Black folks, Dr. King also was a fierce advocate for Indigenous communities, strongly condemning the historic injustices that have been inflicted on our peoples. I recognize that someone like me would not be standing before you as one of the first 2 Native American women to serve in Congress without the work of Dr. King and the leaders who fought alongside him for justice and equality. In fact, it was the honor of a lifetime to have the chance to serve alongside one of those great leaders, Congressman John Lewis. So the choice before us remains: chaos or community. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have demonstrated their commitment to service and to community, their commitment to unifying rather than sowing division and chaos, their commitment to restoring the soul of our nation. I could not be more excited for their inauguration and for us to begin this new chapter in American history, one where we put community first, because together we can build a more equitable and just society, a society that lives up to the ideals that we expect of our nation. I want to thank all of you who are watching tonight for choosing community. And now I would love for you to join me in watching this video from AmeriCorps, which led the MLK Day of Service today.
What are you doing for others? It's the question we ask ourselves when we witness hardship and hear of neighbors in need. It's the question Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called life's most persistent and urgent. And it's the question that AmeriCorps answers on MLK Day and throughout the year, mobilizing the talents and compassion of volunteers across America against our most pressing challenges, meeting uncertainty and despair with community and action. The challenges America faces today are real and made more daunting by a long pandemic. But AmeriCorps' tradition of service is longer, and we stand galvanized, ready to help lead America out of its struggles and toward Dr. King's vision of the beloved community, a society rooted in love, justice, and equal opportunity. AmeriCorps is humbled to helm America's call to serve today, to lift each other up and bring together our country, today and every day, for the greater good. Thank you for putting your neighbors first, for meeting our country's challenges with rolled up sleeves, an outstretched hand, and a servant's heart. Thank you for serving others. That's how America will emerge from these difficult times. That's how we will recover and come back stronger, because together, nothing is insurmountable. Together, we are the best of America. We are AmeriCorps.
Thank you, Congresswoman Davis, for that special message. And I'm so glad that you all got to learn more about AmeriCorps, the federal agency that engages millions of Americans in service each year. And we hope that all of you will commit to serve in your community in 2021, whether it's 2 hours per month, 5 hours per month, or even more time. The time that you can give can really make a difference in your community. You can share your commitment with us at bideninaugural.org/service.
Our next speaker is a dear friend of mine, a Brooklyn-born civil rights activist, founder of the National Action Network, and political commentator. Welcome the Reverend Al Sharpton.
As we celebrate the life and legacy of Martin Luther King Jr., he was about social service and social change. We must serve and we must change to make America equal and fair and just for everyone in the spirit of Dr. King. That is why the promise of the Biden-Harris administration is to bring this nation closer to the nation that Dr. King dreamed of and that we must make more and more a reality. We have in this administration the optics of real inclusion. Now we must use those positions to reposition Americans to have an inclusive and fair and equal social as well as physical America in terms of justice, opportunity, and all that makes our lives.
I'm not gonna put the blame on nobody. All that's gonna get me is get me nowhere. I'm just gonna look in the mirror and start there. I'm gonna be the change. I'm gonna start with my heart. I'm gonna be the light, my own light that lights my way through the dark. I'm gonna see the day. Change is gonna find me, but it's up to me, all on me to make that change inside me. So I'm gonna be the change. I'm gonna be the change. I'm gonna be the change. Ya basta con tantas excusas. Ya no soy la ciega, por fin puedo ver. Para cambiar el mundo requiero primero cambiarme. Yo sé que puedo ser más fuerte y sé que no me para nadie. El mundo será diferente. Y ya es tiempo, conmigo empezaré. Empiezo desde cero. La luz que yo busqué, sé que yo puedo ser. Lo siento aquí en mi pecho. El día llegará. La meta no está lejos. Hoy yo lucharé. Yo traigo el cambio dentro. El cambio yo seré. I can feel the fire starting. Nothing's gonna put it out. It's like this moment's waited for me, and it's mine now. I'm gonna make the change. I'm gonna start with my heart. I'm gonna be the light, my own light that lights my way through the dark. I'm gonna see the day. Change is gonna find me, but it's up to me, all on me to make that change inside me. So the change, change, change. I'm gonna be the change, change, change. El cambio yo seré, el cambio yo seré, el cambio yo seré.
That was wonderful. I think I can speak for both Lynn and myself when I say that we're both so honored to be with you all today, sharing the spirit of service while celebrating the incoming Biden-Harris administration.
Yes, you have my permission. I'll let you speak for me. Yes, yes, yes. The next administration knows that there is nothing that America cannot do if we do it together. And today's National Day of Service is a testament to that.
Absolutely. Now, earlier, we mentioned that there's a number of national, state, and local organizations who are participating in the Day of Service. The National Urban League is one such organization, dedicated to empowering communities and fighting inequality. Here to share more is their president and chief executive officer, Mark Morial.
I'm Mark Morial. I serve as president of the National Urban League. We must honor not only the words of Martin Luther King, but the actions of Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was a visionary and a dreamer, but he was more importantly a man of action who led nonviolent resistance to injustice throughout his entire career. On this day, when we celebrate his life and his work, I urge all Americans everywhere to remember it is words and actions that count. So act to make America more just. Act to end racism in your community and in this nation. Act so that someone who is hungry can eat, someone who's naked can be clothed, someone who is suffering can heal. We celebrate the work of Dr. Martin Luther King as well as the words of Dr. Martin Luther King. Most compelling were his words that we should learn to be thermostats and not thermometers, to set the temperature and to set the tone. On this celebration of this great man's birth, this champion of justice, I urge you to be thermostats and not thermometers. Thank you and happy birthday, Martin Luther King Jr.
Thank you, Mark, my Louisiana brother, my homeboy, for the work and the dedication to your beloved community.
I got to give a shout out to my Louisiana wife, Annika Laurent, but I digress. The work of the National Urban League is a reminder that a small group of people can start a movement that can change a country.
Besides today's national, state, and local service organizations, we also have a number of corporate sponsors that are committed to social responsibility and uplifting the communities they serve.
On behalf of the Presidential Inaugural Committee, National Day of Service, we would like to thank our corporate sponsors.
Our next speaker has spent her career galvanizing young Black women and girls to take action and change the world. Please welcome the former president of Spelman College and anthropologist, Dr. JOHNNETTA Cole.
My sisters, my brothers, my siblings, all, good evening. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said this: life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Each and every day that he was in the civil rights movement, Dr. King responded to his own question with countless nonviolent actions. Each of us must answer that same question. While our responses will rarely, if ever, be as extraordinary as what Dr. King did in the 39 years that he was on earth, each of us should be able to answer that question by saying that we are continuing to do something for others. Yes, the COVID-19 virus continues its horrific attacks all over our country, making it more challenging to serve others. But my sisters and brothers all, as the saying goes, where there is a will, there is a way. With our masks firmly in place while practicing social distancing, it is still possible to be of service. Look what has happened all over America today. Folk being of service to others. Whenever I'm volunteering and doing something in service to others, I always feel that I've received so much more than I gave. Dr. Dorothy Irene Height, that iconic leader of the National Council of Negro Women for over 40 some odd years, she said this about service: without community service, we would not be a strong people with a quality of life. It's important to the person who serves as well as the one who receives that service. So my sisters and brothers, my siblings, all across my country, imagine how much better our communities, our cities and towns, our nation would be if we always had a good answer to Dr. King's question: what are you doing for others?
Thank you, Dr. Cole. Thank you.
Yes. Ooh, I have chills. As the previous director of the Smithsonian National Museum of African Art, Dr. Cole, along with our next participant, they know that the arts have the power to change, the power to unite, the power to inspire people to rise up. Please join us in welcoming singer, songwriter, and actress, Andra Day.
Broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you cannot find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we're gonna walk it out. out. And I'll rise up. I like the waves I will rise up. Spite of the ache, I'll rise up. And I do it 1,000 times again for you. And when the silence is quiet, and it feels like it's getting so hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Oh, yeah. Mountains, oh yes. And I'll rise up. High like the waves, I will rise up. Spite of the ache, I'll rise up. And I do it 1,000 times again for you. And for that we have each other. And for that we have each other. Yeah. We will rise. We will rise. We'll rise. Rise. And I'll rise up. High like the waves, I will rise in spite of the ache. 1,000 again and again and again for you. And I'll rise up, I'll let the waves rise. Spite of the ache, I'll do it, do it, do it. Do it, do it, do it. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I will rise. In spite of the ache, do it, do it. I'll do it, do it, do it. I will rise up. I will rise up. Ooh, do. I'll do it. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for having me. Peace and blessings, y'all.
Hi, everyone. I'm Courtney Smith, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Detroit Phoenix Center. Growing up in Detroit, I, like many young people in our community, experienced housing insecurity. I took those experiences with me to college to learn how our community supports young people who are struggling. I felt a visceral pull in my heart to make a real difference in our community. So I boarded a train with 25 other millennials and traveled to states all across the country to speak with executive directors of organizations who are doing the work and to talk with young people themselves who are street connected. There was a major disconnect between what the young people were saying that they needed and what the leaders of these organizations were saying that they needed. I wanted to ensure that young people and their voices were being elevated. So I came back to Detroit and convened a group of youth and asked them about their lived experiences. From there, we built the Detroit Phoenix Center, which brings us to today, National Day of Service. At the Detroit Phoenix Center, we know a little something about service. We are a high-impact nonprofit organization that provides critical resources, support, and an emotionally safe environment for youth who are experiencing homelessness or those who are at risk of becoming homeless. I'm so proud of the work that we do day in and day out, but there's so much more that can be done in the Detroit community and beyond. That's why I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for joining President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris by getting out there and giving back today. Thank you for stepping up. Together, we can make a difference in our community and build a brighter future for our country.
Wow. Thank you, Andra. It's really inspiring to hear that message of youth in service from Courtney. Now, friends, we hope that those of you watching and following the National Day of Service are ready to take action and give back.
Yeah, I am so inspired. I feel like, we're all together. I feel the togetherness. This is incredible. Yeah. I am so grateful to be here. And you know what? We also hope that you all are participating in the Day of Service events across this country. This day is just the start of something bigger and better for all Americans.
Yes. And like Dr. King, our next speaker uses the pulpit to talk to her congregation about community organizing, legislative advocacy, and community development. Please welcome author, Reverend ALEXIA Salvatierra.
Today is Martin Luther King Jr. National Day of Service, which is the only federal holiday that is not to rest, but to serve. Our new president, Joe Biden, and our vice president, Kamala Harris, are taking this day seriously and calling on everyone in the country to respond to the needs of people in our communities. In our Hispanic community, we have a number of people in need right now. We have essential workers. We have families struggling with COVID. We have families who are suffering from unemployment, whose businesses have closed. We have migrant children that need our help. We also have many people in our community that are disponible y dispuesto, ready and willing to serve. So let's respond to the call of our new president and vice president, and let's do it.
Thank you, Reverend ALEXIA. Thank you so much for sharing your message of faith-based community service.
Now, our next participant begins each day with his family, and he asks them, how can I help you? Please welcome Chairman of the Auction Indian Community, Robert Miguel.
Skugtash. Hello, I am Robert Miguel, Chairman of the Auction Indian Community. We are a small Indian tribe located about 35 miles south of Phoenix, Arizona, in a rural county. The Auction are farmers. We settled in this exact place because of farming and because historically, this location was at the mouth of the Wash. In my O'odham language, Auction literally means mouth of the Wash, or place where the Wash loses itself in the sand or ground. For those of you unfamiliar with the desert, a wash is like a desert river that concentrates water and nutrients from a large area. It creates corridors for plants, animals, and, of course, vegetation and crops. The main difference is that washes have surface water for only brief times each year. Today, Development has changed the flow of many actual rivers and the washes surrounding our small community. Reliable, quality water remains a major concern as we do recent administrative changes for enforcement of the Clean Water Act. As I mentioned before, my people are and will always be farmers, and today we operate one of the largest farming operations in the southwestern United States, the Auction Farms, which has approximately 15,000 productive acres. Among other things, our farms grows pecans, cotton, alfalfa, corn, and potatoes. In 1984, Auction became the first tribe in the United States to secure an Indian water rights settlement. Before that, activity around us had strained the water table to the point that our crops were suffering. We also saw related health challenges among our people. We knew we had to secure reliable water for our future, and we did. That landmark settlement by our small Indian community paved the way for other tribes across the West to resolve long-standing disputes over water with the federal and state governments. The Auction have always protected our water. We always will, and we continue to look to the federal government to honor its commitments to us. Because we have significant and recognized water rights, and with help from gaming revenues, we have grown a thriving economy for our members and neighbors. In addition to the Auction Farms, we own Southern Dunes Golf Club, a world-class golf course which Golf Magazine has named one of the best not only in Arizona, but in the United States. And we currently are the number 6 ranked golf course in the state of Arizona to play. The Auction Circle Entertainment Center with movie theaters, laser tag, an arcade, bowling lanes, and dining. We also have Harrah's Auction Casino, a destination gaming facility, and of course the Auction Autumn Runner, a tribal newspaper where I was employed for more than 2 decades, where we get reliable, fact-based information about Auction. We also have the Auction Himduck Eco Museum, the first living history museum of its kind in America. The Auction Regional Airport currently is a refueling station for small engine airplanes. And of course, our Auction Energy Services, which secures and provides power distribution to our members and businesses. And we also have Quail Run, a leading provider of commercial steel farming in the Southwest. Today, we are not only the largest employer in our county, but also one of the primary economic drivers. Because of what our ancestors put in motion, we have the opportunity for a bright and brilliant future. President-elect Biden sent all of Indian country a strong indication of what positive change may be in store for that collaborative future when he named Deb Haaland as Secretary of Interior. Ms. Haaland, or Secretary-elect Haaland, will become the first Native American to hold the position that makes critical policy decisions and recommendations about Indian lands and people. She uniquely appreciates our challenges and the struggles of those whose shoulders we stand. We invite you to learn more as well. Please consider this an open invitation when it is safe to do so to come visit our small but exciting community here in Arizona, which lies between the great cities of Phoenix and Tucson. Stop by and say hello. And in my language, our house is your house. Until then, I thank you for your attention and celebrate with you the achievements of the late and good Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and all inclusive leaders across generations who, though they toiled and suffered, made change through peace, vision, and the power of their ideals in a good way, the right way. And again, thank you, Sapo.
How can I help you? I love that motto. Mm-hmm. And knowing that each day Chairman Robert Miguel's family works to grow and nurture their community.
Yes. And as a fellow parent, the family motto is something that I'm going to start sharing with my kids for sure.
Like so many of today's participants, our next performer and speaker have made their mission to speak and sing about the important issues that impact the well-being and their community. Please welcome singer and songwriter Alejandro Fernandez and Mana.
La voz de Maná, más que política, es humanista. Gracias a toda la raza que votaron por el medio ambiente, por la justicia para los migrantes en los Estados Unidos y por el bienestar total de todo el planeta. Muchas gracias, los queremos mucho a todos. Suerte, bendiciones, hay que seguir amando, hay que seguir sirviendo.
Ya no te extraño, me dueles a ratos, es diferente y justamente me dueles a veces al recordar que te di de más y tú indiferente. Te creí que estaba roto tu corazón y no estaba roto, estaba vacío y yo de tonto, terco, y quería completarlo con el mío, aun sabiendo que quedaban solo ruinas de un noble corazón. Que tanta decepción, lo mejor sin esperanza. Y si hablamos de decepciones, la tuya creo que ha sido la más fuerte, a tal grado que quedé casi al borde de la muerte. Aun sabiendo que quedaban solo ruinas de un noble corazón, que tanta decepción, lo mejor sin esperanza. Y si hablamos de decepciones, la tuya creo que ha sido la más fuerte, a tal grado que quedé casi al borde de la muerte. Pero en paz sin ti.
Thank you, Maná and Alejandro Fernandez. Now, I hope that both those of you who are watching from home, you're enjoying today's performances, but you're also thinking about how to create your own beloved community.
Yes, yes. And I know that I have been taking notes because today isn't just a single day of service, but an opening to learn more about community-based organizations near you.
Now, our next speaker is no stranger to encouraging others to participate in their own communities and be their own advocate. Welcome, the President and CEO of the National Coalition on the Black Civic Participation, Melanie Campbell.
It is an honor to join you tonight to commemorate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday that has been deemed a day of service. Dr. King taught us that everybody can be great because everybody can serve. And everyone has the power for greatness, not for fame, but greatness, because greatness is determined by service. On this day, we also join together to remember his commitment to eradicating poverty and embracing freedom and justice for all people. And as our nation endures great challenges to our democracy, let us also take up the mantle of hope and determination by protecting the voting rights of all American citizens, eradicating racial injustice, and taking care of our most vulnerable families, friends, and neighbors who have been impacted by this deadly global pandemic, COVID-19. Let us use this moment to come together to rebuild hope, justice, equality, and equity. Dr. King left us his words, life example, and legacy to guide us. It is a love of service and love of humankind that motivated Dr. King to fight for the poor and to dedicate his life to justice. So on this day, let us all recommit to honoring Dr. King by living a life of service. Thank you.
That was great. I've known Melanie and known of her work for years, and she continues to energize me into doing more and more and more, especially when it comes to advocating for other Black women and girls.
Yes. Now, before we head to our final speakers of the evening, I just want to take a moment to note that not being able to be together for the inauguration is difficult for all of us. And at a time when Americans are unable to celebrate this momentous occasion, the Presidential Inaugural Committee is installing an extensive public art display on the National Mall that will include approximately 191,500 US flags.
This field of flags will cover the National Mall and will represent the American people who are unable to travel to Washington, D.C. The field of flags also reflects the commitment to an inclusive and safe event that everyone can enjoy from their homes. To include the American people in the inaugural ceremony, the Presidential Inaugural Committee welcomes Americans to become a symbolic sponsor of the field of flags. 100% of your contributions will go towards today's nonprofit partners in service. Learn more about Field of Flags at bideninaugural.org/flags.
Our next speaker is a United States Senator who is also a retired Army National Guard Lieutenant Colonel. Here to share how she inspires her own daughters to give back is Senator Tammy Duckworth.
Hi, everyone. On a hot summer day in 1966, Dr. King looked out into the crowd that were gathered at Chicago's Soldier Field and called the city into action. He said, "We've come here today to remind Chicago of the fierce urgency of now. For now is the time to make the real promises of democracy. Now is the time to let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream." And then, even as the temperature swelled to 98 degrees, the crowd grew into thousands, and then they marched by Dr. King's side all the way to Chicago's City Hall. They were unwavering in their belief that freedoms they were fighting for were worth every bead of sweat that rolled down their foreheads. It was worth even the threat of violence that loomed over each step of that 10,000-foot march. In Illinois, and when crisscrossing the nation, Dr. King asked us to imagine a better, fairer tomorrow. He spoke of the great big power of even the smallest acts of kindness, spreading the message that if America were to become that more perfect union that our founders dreamed of, it would need to value compassion over might, a desire to do good over the need to appear great. And finally, he emphasized the importance of serving others, something I've been trying to teach my two girls, ages 6 and 2, for their entire lives. You know, Dr. King's words ring true, just as true all these years later, no matter what form that service takes. Because just as putting on a uniform to defend our country is considered American service, so too is picking up a soup spoon to feed the less fortunate, picking up a stick of chalk to teach school kids, or picking up a ballot to make your voice heard at the polls. Rebuilding a home devastated by fire is American service. Standing up to racial injustice is American service. Saying his name, George Floyd, saying her name, Breonna Taylor, saying their names over and over and over again is American service. So today, in an era when appeals to tribalism appears to be growing louder by the hour, it is on each of us to repledge ourselves to Dr. King's vision. We need to reject the calls to divide us. We need to recommit ourselves instead to bringing about his greatest hope, a world where no walls separate us from one another, but where we will all sit down together at that table of brotherhood that he dreamed of. It's on every one of us to make real those promises of democracy that he spoke of, united as one, tied together in what he called the single garment of destiny. Because together we can make this country that truly more perfect union. So thank you, each of you, for everything that you're doing. Get out there. I know it's been this National Day of Service, but we should try to serve every single day because we do live in a great nation that can be greater if we will come together and heed Dr. King's words. May we all join President-elect Biden and my good friend Kamala Harris. We were freshmen in the Senate together as they continue to serve our nation and serve each other for today, tomorrow, and all the tomorrows after that. Thank you, everyone, and be well.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Duckworth. Oh, just so many words of wisdom and so inspiring. And Sean, you know what? I especially enjoy hearing when elected officials share their love of country, share their love of service with their children.
Yes. I mean, my wife and I, we try and do that every day as much as we can. And these young kids, they're going to lead the world someday.
Yes, they are.
When Dr. King accepted the Nobel Peace Prize, he underscored our collective responsibility to look after one another. Mm-hmm. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris is a leader who knows that crisis is affecting millions of people every day. And like Dr. King, Vice President-elect Harris knows that we have a shared commitment to bring the nation together in service to others. Please welcome the next Vice President of the United States, Kamala D. Harris.
Service is part of the character of our nation, and now more than ever, we must do everything we can to help our neighbors and our community. In his I Have a Dream speech, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called on us to, quote, transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. And by that, I believe he meant we need to bring together the different voices of our country and unite so we can lift up all our people. And it won't be easy. Our nation has suffered immeasurable loss and hardship during the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic recession. And we have a lot of work to do to strengthen the rule of law and make sure all people are treated equally. This inauguration marks a new beginning for our country, a new chance to heal, rebuild, and strengthen this democracy we all cherish. And fulfilling the promise of this moment will require each of us to do our part.
I am in awe of the strong, empathetic leadership of Vice President-elect, Harris, that sounds so good.
Doesn't it sound good?
And President-elect Joe Biden. And I look forward to what they will accomplish over the next 4 years. Sean, we are now at our final performance of the evening. At the start of this event, you quoted Dr. King, who inspired generations of greatness through simple acts of kindness, love, and commitment to serve.
Yes. And I know that I'm leaving this event looking forward to a new day with a Biden-Harris administration. Friends, for our final performance of the evening, please welcome the great multi-Grammy winning gospel singer and actor, Mr. B.B. Winans.
Just wanted to say congratulations to President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Congratulations, and may Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream continue to be our dream.
50 years ago,
50 years ago,
a great
American signed and proclaimed we know the emancipation that brought a beacon light of hope. The plenty of slaves who had been seared, called Negroes. The flame of injustice, and now 100 years have passed. And now today we must face the true and tragic fact. The Negro is still not free, though impossible it seems. He said, I have a dream. Now the Constitution reads and gives a promise that all men be guaranteed pursuit of happiness, right of life and liberty, the check of independence, cash and decree. But it is obvious America's at fault. Paul and his promises gave the citizens of all. And now we must demand our right to be free. 'Cause I have a dream. I have a dream. A dream that one day black boys and black girls will join hands with white boys and girls, and we'll stand sisters and brothers.
I still have a dream.
And I have a dream that one day the mountains and the hills be made low, and all the world is told the crooked's been made straight, till his glory is seen. He said, I have a dream.
It would be fatal for the
to overlook the urgency. It would be fatal to deny equality. The autumn of freedom, the year 1963. But a beginning, not the end of what will be. But there is something I must say to my people. Stand on the threshold into the palace where we go. Must not be guilty of violence and wrong deeds, because I have a dream.
I have a dream.
He said, I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and see the truth of its creed, and equal all men will be. And I have a dream today, a dream that one day, with a new meaning we will sing, my country, tears of the sweet land of liberty. Yes, freedom will ring, 'cause I have a dream.
If America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom reign. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom reign. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom reign. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom reign.
that one day black boys and black girls will join hands with white boys and girls, and we'll stand sisters and brothers. And I have a dream, yes I do, yes a dream that one day the mountains and the hills be made low, and all the world is told the crooked's been made straight. Oh, till his glory is seen, yes. I have a dream that freedom will ring, 'cause I have a dream. Though impossible it seems, yeah, ooh, I have a dream. Yes, I do.
Will they be able to sit down together at the table? I have a dream.
For the poor man and rich man. Oh, I have a dream.
When all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old dream. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Oh, keep on dreaming.
My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Oh, thank you, BB Winans, for your gift. Thank you for sharing a little bit of Dr. King's spirit with us. Oh, you always do it. This, Sean, this
unbelievable.
One fantastic show, right?
Incredible.
Yeah, it was so truly inspiring to hear these stories, to watch these performances, to see the diversity of the experiences. Yeah, right? Just spread out across our nation. Truly incredible to learn about individuals and communities ready to help, ready to lend a hand, ready to make our country a little bit safer, please, a little bit stronger, and a little more fair.
Tonight, we've witnessed what's best in the American spirit. Our generosity, our compassion, our decency, our diversity, resilience, and heroism. This is how America can heal. This is how we rebuild. This is the vision that we are seeing this week with the inauguration of a president and a vice president ready to build our economy and our communities back better than ever before and to unite our country.
We hope you enjoyed this evening as much as we did. We hope you'll take this day of service and make it a year-round calling. Share your commitment to service at bideninaugural.org/service. We hope you'll join us in what comes next, channeling the energy and spirit of this day into a new beginning for our country and a renewed commitment to America united. Thank you so much. Let's keep working. Let's keep serving. Let's show what our nation can be at our best.
Thank you. And good night.
Good night.